This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
When you're separating from the military, no one tells you how hard it can be to get your civilian life up to speed. But with VA benefits, it doesn't have to be. From the VA home loan requiring no down payment, to the GI Bill covering tuition, books, and cost of living, to VA healthcare offering top-ranked, low-cost care designed specifically for veterans. All the support you need is at VA. I'm here telling every veteran because I wish someone had told me. Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
My favorite thing about Shipt since I signed up for Target Circle 360? No price markups when I order same-day delivery from tons of local stores. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. I won't lie, I've had too much fun being like, markups on groceries? Not in my fridge. Markups on pet food? Not for my DOG. Markups on tools, electronics, home goods, meds? Not in my house. Anyway, it's awesome. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. We are back in the studio once again here in Corporate Woods. I've got Thad Bell, Robert Russert, and Carrie Robinson with me. Carrie, the celebrity, like I said, popped up in the tribute to Matt Besler, had the longest video of anybody else. I don't know what happened there. Carrie, we're going to get to that. But I want to talk about the game last night. It was a return of Johnny Russell. He had a ponytail for some reason. Can we just start right there, Carrie?
Yeah, I sent it to you guys and I said, what do you guys feel looking at this photo? And I said, it feels like he has depression.
Oh, he's going through something, right? Like we all go through breakups in our own ways. Some people dye their hair. Some people shave their head. He gets a ponytail.
Yeah, ponytails. Insane.
That wasn't even a ponytail. That was like a little thing you put on a toddler that hasn't grown out their hair yet. It was like the little bitty baby pony.
Yes, that was a 3-year-old girl's ponytail.
Yeah.
Well, that may have been what it was. You know, his daughter said, "Hey, Dad, wear your hair like this." And because of his love for his daughter, he said, "Okay, dear."
You know what? You're right. That's not bad. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He deserves that around here. He scored that goal, kind of a banger of a goal, a diving header, because of course he did. That's on Leibold, right?
Yeah, arguably, yeah, but that's exactly what Besler said when he was in the booth with Apple TV guys. He's like, yeah, you knew that was going to happen, right? I mean, it always does.
Just because, of course.
Yeah. He's the 20th person to score on Sporting after they've left Kansas City.
Wow, is that a Mike stat?
That's a Mike stat. And he's digging in to see how many of them scored on their first return to play against Sporting. So he hasn't pulled that out.
That feels like a lot, but now I want him to dig further and figure this out for other teams.
I saw a comment in Slack about Cody being surprised it wasn't Agata. He was shocked.
I did kind of think he was going to get one, but it was a lot of the same from Willie. But no, I want to the no celebration, Carrie. What was it like in the Cauldron after that goal went in? Johnny, the respectable gentleman that he is, didn't celebrate. What was it like? What was happening over there?
It sucked that he walked slow past the rest of the Cauldron. That way his teammates could come celebrate with him.
Right.
Could have done a little faster, let me just say.
He knew what he was doing.
Yes. He's not innocent there by any means. It sucked to hear people applaud him.
Oh, no. I don't like that.
There are other people that we heard he was not very happy with that called him a wanker
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I might have done the hands in the air, like exactly what he did when he scored. All right, I'm not going to scream at you. Equal footing here. I'm not going to yell and boo. Respect to Johnny. I would have done the exact same thing.
He was in the field club afterwards. And I just can't imagine, like, you're sitting in the visiting room, team's locker room, and one of your newer teammates goes, hey, I'm going to get a drink with everyone else in Kansas City, and just leaves.
So he was hanging out in the Shield Club with everybody, huh?
Yes.
That's a good time after the games, especially after a win. That is a great place to be. Former players all hanging out. Everybody's in a good mood. I bet Johnny was having fun.
We also had a Carrie and Carrie walk up together.
The Carries met?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk about, hey, your name's Carrie, my name's Carrie? How interesting is that?
I did. And then Miriam Zavagnin, his wife, remembered my name after.
Oh, nice.
So.
Wait, so what did you say on the Besler tribute? I couldn't hear you.
I said I started watching Sporting Kansas City during the 2013 MLS shootout, right before they won, and then have been watching ever since. And then I said that he became a big staple in my family for why we watch soccer.
And you had the longest recorded tribute to Matt Besler in recorded history.
It felt like it lasted an hour. Watching it,
I think it was 1 second longer than somebody else's.
No, it was longer.
I did really enjoy that tribute to him. More meaningful to me than many of the other ones I've seen. Do they all speak?
They do, I think.
Okay. I was thinking that was not the norm. But yeah, that was very good. Got a little lump in my throat while watching the video.
So did he.
Yeah. Talking about the family. That was when it happened.
I have shots of him like making that scrunched up, holding it in face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I will actually post those because they aren't the most flattering, but still.
Congrats to the legend, Matt Besler.
I mean, you got to think that, yes, there's people up on the wall that are coaches that have seen the entire Sporting KC history, but he is that first player to go through Wizards, seeing the building get constructed, and now has his name up on the wall.
Well, and he was just a kid in Kansas City that was watching this team before, so he has seen the whole thing.
Yeah, there are others you could argue for that, too. I mean, Davey Arnaud, for example, he captained the squad in the first game at Chilton's Mercy Park. Livestrong Park. But, yeah.
Oh, Livestrong Park. Wow, that feels like so long ago. I thought it was fitting that we played RSL while respecting Matt Besler and their rivalry that they had. And the rivalry is still alive, Thad. That was kind of an ugly game, almost fights, 9 cards throughout the whole game. What happened?
I remember somebody earlier this year trying to tell me that there was no rivalry left in that old rivalry, but I think they were proven wrong.
100%.
All the players are different, too.
Yeah.
There's even combined players with relationships in there, but it just happened again.
That may have made it better, though, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
Brody from RSL here,
right.
Johnny and Willie over there. It wasn't a Matt versus Nick situation. So, but yeah, because remember Nick Besler played there too.
Right. That's right. I did forget about that. Those are, I have to admit, begrudgingly, those checker jerseys are kind of nice.
Yeah, I did like them.
And I couldn't believe that MLS hasn't had a checker team until now. It's a staple of a jersey.
Is that a staple with them now, or is this a one-off?
Well, no, I'm saying just in soccer around the world, the checker jersey is one of the options, the hoops and stripes and whatever.
If I was starting a team, I would have a checkered one, at least if I wasn't the first one, the second one, quite honestly.
Yeah, but their coach, Pablo Mastroeni, was wearing Sporting blue.
I saw
his
that
shirt. I'm like, is he trying to throw some shade at Kansas City with that? I don't know.
Yeah, him and Carey were wearing the exact same color shirt on the sideline.
It was a shade of blue.
So what do we think of Willie Agata? He didn't get a goal, got subbed out. Like I said last week, he doesn't make it very long after halftime. They give him the start every game, but he's been getting subbed out like in the 60th minute, 63rd minute every game, and didn't do a whole lot. Up to the same antics, a couple dives. One of them worked, got Tim Leibold a yellow card.
Well, on the goal, you could credit him with making a run that attracted some defenders and left Leibold one-on-one with Johnny, but otherwise I wouldn't have known he was on the field. How about you guys?
I was going to say I forgot he was out there.
Yeah.
Until I saw angry RSL tweets again asking if they could just get him off the team.
Somebody asked in our Slack what the reception was like for the two of them. And unfortunately, they were one right after another.
Yeah. Right.
And Willie came after Johnny. So we couldn't really tell what the reception for Willie was like because it was still lingering from Johnny's massive reception.
A lot of residual effect there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I think people would be respectfully applauding for him as a former player.
Right.
But yeah, it was a huge one for Johnny, and he just got the benefit.
Right.
Much like, just picking up a loose ball in the box somewhere. He had a shot, though. I don't know who it hit in the cauldron, but...
There was a guy for the RSL technical staff in the press box, and someone else, not Willie, on RSL, early in the first half, missed kind of an easy, it was an open shot, best chance of the game in the beginning, and the guy just assumed it was Willie.
Did he really?
This guy misses it, and he goes, "Oh, Willie." I was like, that wasn't Willie.
Did you look at him and say, William?
That's true. Are they failing at that too? Maybe he abandoned that for them.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to their shit no matter what. So
that guy was loud the whole game. I was getting frustrated. I have to, every game, fight myself from making noise and cheering and having fun in the press box. And this dude for the other team, it said technical on his lanyard. That would mean he's on the technical staff, yeah?
He's on the team.
Not your first time in the press box.
Why wasn't he in their technical box?
I don't know, but he was sitting there next to the marketing girls for their team. I don't know. Go back to the technical box, sir. Stop yelling in the press box.
At least he has more right to cheer for his team because he is a member of the team where media is not supposed to be cheering one way or the other.
Okay.
He still should not be cheering in the press box, but...
Yeah, not in the press box. Get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eric Tommy had the goal for Sporting Kansas City. Took a little deflection. Eric Tommy's it's gonna happen every now and then. The chances he takes, the way he plays, every now and then one of those is gonna work. And that's exactly what happened there. You can't score if you don't shoot, Carrie.
I knew it was going in the second he lined up for it. Yes, he misses those 9 out of 10 times, but it was just something about his one little movement and the way he was lining up for that was like, oh, it's going in.
Oh, that first touch, the slight little roll on the bottom of his foot. He knew what he was doing.
Seemed like the glory days of Eric Tommy and Johnny Russell, didn't it?
Tell you what, that winger for RSL, right winger, I'd take him on my club. I'll tell you that.
The glory days. It was like the darkest days in club history, pretty much, when we
Johnny
relied on
back
those
when they were winning all the time. Those guys.
Johnny never did win a trophy, unfortunately.
No, and that's still going to be a discussion every so often is how does he deserve to be a legend?
Because there are only how many slots left up there?
I think they have to have a way to extend that.
Yeah, they have to.
We don't expect the team to not exist in 5 years.
Right. The squares are pretty big, and I think that they could make those smaller. Right. And you get another 6 or 7, and that'll carry you another 15 years.
They have the same amount, or they have the same size of squares above like all the boxes and like the higher levels.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So they can start a whole ring of
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Instead of a wall or whatever.
It'll be the walls plural once they do that.
So who goes up next?
Got to be Zeus.
Roger.
Oh,
Roger or Graham, yeah.
I think it's 4 years post retirement. I thought it was 5, but Besler's only been out for 4.
Yeah.
So.
It could be the 5th year.
Yes.
I don't know.
Or do they even have a rule of thumb there?
There is a rule of thumb.
Oh.
Thad and I were trying to figure this out after training the other day.
I think it's whoever Robo likes, and when they need one for PR purposes. But
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Roger, Zeus, Tim. We asked Matt this the other day who should go up after him, and he basically went that same list and included Seth.
Oh, nice.
Well, of course he did.
But I think he should be next because that way Seth could be right to the left of Besler.
Yeah, but does Seth really deserve it?
Bro, for me personally, that one goal he scored is still perhaps like one of my favorite moments in Sporting KC fandom. It solidified that I was never going back. Like, this is my favorite team in the city. Yeah, for me, he's a legend.
Seth has trophies.
He does.
Did we ever hear what Matt Besler was gifting to
Oh, yeah.
The Legends.
Yeah, it was in one of the emails somewhere.
Oh, it was. I missed that. Good call, Carrie.
I don't read those
Someone
emails.
track that down. Stats and info. Track that down.
Where the hell is Greenwald? Damn it.
I know. We will take a break while we figure that out. We'll be right back.
Imagine this. The best pasta sauce you have ever tasted sits abandoned on a plate. Wasted sauce. That is a tragedy. If only you had used Barilla al Bronzo pasta. Its bronze-cut texture holds your sauce and scoops up every last drop. The Italians call that scarpetta. Capture sauce the Italian way. Barilla al Bronzo. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
Lights, camera, innovation. Walt Disney Studios chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform the movie-making process. Together, we kept a remote production hub in Hawaii and sync with a team in California to bring Lilo and Stitch to theaters this summer. This is picture-perfect collaboration. This is Walt Disney Studios with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
Hi, welcome to IKEA.
This is my college campus.
Correct, but I see you're on IKEA.com ordering some college items.
My daughter's room is pretty bare. We need a lamp, some comfy pillows, her favorite stuffy.
Dad! With pickup options, we've got what you need to conveniently order IKEA. Literally anywhere.
Sweet, more time for gaming.
And studying. Wait, where are you going now?
Have to show the ultimate Frisbee team how easy it is to order from IKEA. Get IKEA whenever, wherever, however you want. Choose from thousands of pickup locations, affordable delivery options, and more.
With EA Sports College Football 26, you can rise from high school recruit to Heisman legend or cement your legacy as a coach by leading your program to glory. Pre-order the deluxe edition of the game today as part of the MVP bundle at go.ea.com/MVP-bundle to start playing 3 days early and more. EA Sports College Football 26 is rated E for everyone. Includes in-game purchases, including random items.
Jake Davis, I have to talk about this. He was on the field for 23 minutes, a bit of a brouhaha, Thad, there in the 70th minute. He comes on and gets his first yellow. I think that first yellow was probably justified, yeah?
Fair. I think it's fair if it was being given both ways.
Yes, well.
It was.
It was, technically. There was a yellow card given on both ways. That was Xavier Gozo. Good name. I must admit he's got a good name. But absolutely should have been given a red card. The most clear and obvious kick out. Is that not a stonewall thing in this sport? A kick out is the easiest thing to identify. It is always a red card. And this one is worse than many red cards I've seen for a little slight kick out. This was out in the open, got him with the studs on the leg, brought him down into a heap. That's 2 weeks in a row, Carrie, that there's been a guy that should have not been on my field any longer for the other team.
100%. I heard maybe Jake Davis getting a yellow after that was because he was running his mouth too much to the ref.
Oh, was it?
Yes. But I cannot say too much into that.
Okay.
Yeah, the foul that Jake made was yellow card offensive to me.
More so than the second one.
Yeah, for sure. But kicking out... Is it always a red card?
Is it not? A kick out? That's like...
I don't know. Always is a term that is, rarely true.
Every time you go back and there's a highlight where someone can see that foot did something they weren't supposed to, a slight little, oops, I stomped on his hand. That's a red card every time. Every time.
I think the non-red card in that case was consistent with how the ref was calling the game at the time. I didn't think it was that flagrant. Yeah, it was a kick out. True.
And then so 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, there's a slight foul that Jake Davis does, and he's like, oh, now it's going to get out of hand. Now I have to get a handle on the game. It was just so poorly done.
He was from behind. He did not get the ball, and it was an opportunity where the guy would have been in on goal. That's arguable. So
arguable
you don't
on
put
all
yourself
of them.
in that situation.
Arguable on all of them. Way less than a kick out. Than bringing a guy down very blatantly out in the open field while already on the ground with your studs. By no definition was that more of a red card than what he did.
But just like Kyrie a couple of weeks ago or whenever it was, you can't put yourself in that situation, and Jake did. You pay for it every time.
Are you upset with Jake, Thad? You're the dad of the group here. You upset with him? You disappointed?
No.
Not mad, just disappointed?
Well, a little disappointed because he did allow himself to do that. But again, the second yellow, I'm not even 100% sure he really touched the guy, but from different angles, it looked like it. One angle, it didn't, so I'm not sure. From my angle, it did look like he did.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm just more upset that the guy didn't get a red in the first place. So Gozo, was that Gozo?
Gozo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds like one of the guys from Ghostbusters.
And you know what's weird? His name is Xavier, but normally when you see Xavier or Xavier, it's just with an X, right? It's actually spelled with a Z. Xavier. Xavier Gozo. Good name.
I've seen that before.
Okay, what do I know?
I have what Matt Besler gave.
Yes.
He gave his jersey and captain's armband from the 2017 U.S. Open Cup final.
I was there.
Philadelphia? Was that? No.
Yep.
No, that was...
2017.
Yeah.
I was
15
also
was
there.
in Philly, yeah.
Yes.
2017, that was over the Red Bull, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
When I got to see Sasha Klestin crying on the field. That was great.
So you're saying that the reason we didn't win in last August was because you weren't there?
Yes.
Cody.
Yes. I was also not there at the 2012 Open Cup win, which, did you hear? Besler said that was his favorite memory or his favorite trophy that they had.
Which
was
one?
Was the 2012 Open Cup.
Interesting.
I was there.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first one, floodgates open. First one's always most meaningful, right?
Could see that.
How many goals does Matt Besler have?
Ooh, Thad.
Trivia question.
Coming out
career?
swinging here.
In his whole career.
It's got to be single digits.
In his career in MLS.
In MLS.
7.
Yeah.
5.
Carrie, don't cheat.
4.
3.
3.
Oh, so close.
She did Price's Right rules for me there.
I was looking to see if it was on the email still. It was not.
Two of them in 1 year, and then one much later. So his first one, I'll even give you a hint. 2 of them were away games.
The only one I have in my head is Iko Para heading it across the face of goal and then him nodding it home. That was the only one I can think of.
So I think that that one was against DC, maybe?
Not sure.
He also scored in Chicago in the year that they were opening the stadium, and they had that 10-game road trip, and it was a huge road run. Went to Chicago. There's 600 Sporting fans in Chicago for that game, which was about a third of the Chicago fans, and he scored. And I have a photo. So I have a photo of him, 2 of his goals, one on the road, one here. So the bookend of those goals.
66% of his career goals was documented by you. Well done.
I was not in DC for that one, so.
We were talking about the referee and Eric Tommy earlier. Tommy earned a penalty kick in the first half. You guys know that play I'm talking about?
Yes.
It was one of the best sequences from the team, which there were. Carrie, sometimes this team, you're wondering how they're going to get the ball up the field regularly. And then all of a sudden, the stars align, and they just do this beautiful sequence of one-touch passing. It goes all the way down. It just clicks on like that very quickly.
Yeah.
So you thought that was a PK? You didn't think he exaggerated that, went down rather easily?
Well, everybody goes down easy in this sport. But the defender clattered into an attacker in the box. Clumsily clattered into him, sent the guy to the ground. There was no flop on that. He took the contact and went down.
That was the one reasonably early in the first half?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the defender also extended his arm. Because again, I have a photo of this.
His arm?
A little bit.
I was up there with an RSL guy, and he was replaying all of these. And the kick out, he was like, oh, that's got to be a red. And on that one, he looked at me like, yikes.
So do you think there's going to be a game soon where we get all of the calls going in our direction? Because the last 2 games have not.
That will never happen.
Is it allowed in Sporting Kansas City?
Well, it felt like for a while after Peter left that we were kind of getting the calls, or at least getting a very even share of them. But I think lately we've had guys who have, maybe grudges against Sporting with Peter being there. They don't realize that since they don't see the fouls on the field, they don't realize the coach has changed. I don't know. There's also suspicion, a thought that MLS has told VAR to stop making as many suggestions that the ref go look at it because it was looking bad. It was like 12 of them a week or something. So I've heard people say that, and if you look at the number of VAR calls over each week, it is there was like a point that was like 10, 12, 11, 12, whatever, and then all of a sudden it went 2, 3, 2, 1 in a week.
Well,
Now,
stop
that
making
could
bad
be-
calls that need to be reviewed, refs.
Yeah. I don't know if this is true. Nobody knows if it's true, but there's a very, what I was told, and I haven't looked at these numbers, so I'm just going off of people who have looked at these numbers, that it was a very clear cutoff. It had double digits to low single digits the next week.
So, Cody, you're probably the one, and Carrie, excuse me if I'm wrong, that probably watches the most Premier League games out of this group, right?
I watch a lot.
Okay. So are fouls that we're complaining about in MLS, how does that compare to what you see in the Premier League? Are these similar calls that are called in Premier League, or are these in Premier League like just shrugged off and said, that's not a foul?
Well, that's hard to say. I think years ago, MLS was rougher. You could get away with more. That might be changing a little bit. I think a foul is a foul generally across both of those leagues. Now, I think Major League Soccer referees miss more, make the wrong call more. But yeah, I think it's about the same. I would be curious as to hear what other people say about that, but it was definitely, you could get away with a lot more in Major League Soccer years ago, but that might be kind of changing.
And different leagues do just have different standards, though.
Yeah.
I watched some South American leagues where, you could karate chop a guy, and it was like, okay, maybe stop play. Maybe don't do it again. Yeah.
Feels like we're in the middle of that one. You have all these very clean, top-notch in Europe, and then you have that South American. We're somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. And I would say we were closer to the European one, but not quite there.
Sometimes CONCACAF comes in CONCACAFs.
It does. We can't hide it.
But we still need to develop more refs and also not kill the refs for every mistake they make, so that refs do come in. They do make mistakes, and it sucks, and sometimes it feels very biased.
I will not stop murdering referees, Thad.
Well, maybe our team needs to play better so we don't have to worry about these calls, maybe. Just a thought.
I agree, but yet I disagree, because when two teams are relatively close together and a ref misses several calls in one favor of the other one, I'm not saying it's on purpose, but that does change the balance of the game. If it's two very even teams, it comes down to a lucky bounce or one lucky shot or whatever. But if the ref misses some key things, especially cards that should have been called, it sucks to say that these two teams maybe come out with a different result if the referee didn't influence the game in a negative way.
Yeah, well, Davis's red card wasn't until 82nd minute, and RSL outperformed us in every offensive category except for corners.
But not
at home.
In the second half, that was not the case. Sporting KC had all the momentum, all of the stats, and then if that red card happens...
You watched a different game than I was, because I didn't see a domination by us at any period. And maybe we had a little advantage during some periods, but no domination.
I was looking at the second half stats on the second half tab on FootMob, and Sporting Kansas City had 3 times the XG, more possession. They had the lion's share of possession.
Numbers, though?
But that's the point I'm making. The second half, they gained all of the momentum back. They were building up. They scored that goal. Tommy had almost the go-ahead goal 30 seconds after that. They had all of the momentum, and then if that red card comes right there and they have a man up, I don't know how the winning goal doesn't come.
So if we have a man up, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see any stretch where we dominated and looked that good. It was all pretty meh to me, but other people have different perspectives.
And I'm not going to say that Sporting was by far the superior team in the second half, but
but they had the momentum.
They were a little better team, and they were playing better.
Yeah.
And Carey, we've seen this team play better in the second half because of moves that Carey makes, or at least perceived that's what the reason is. So it is unfortunate when that call doesn't help.
Sure.
One way, and then it goes the other way, Because maybe that call on Jake doesn't happen if the first one does, right? It's all in the, if he had called the red on something that most of the time you see that way, I can understand questioning it, but then that affects the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then you end up with the other guy getting a red who, again, he maybe shouldn't have done it. That's fine. It's just, it is a knock-on effect. Butterfly effect, domino effect, whatever.
Yeah, but we got to admit, this team just isn't that good.
No, they're not. No. They're not top of the table good.
Yeah, they're just not that good.
Oh, well, we know this.
Yeah.
This is, again, one of those games where I've never questioned myself, except for last week, that we need Basong. And then again, this game, I'm asking, where's Basong?
No, Robert, that's the key. The team is not that good, but they are gritty and have the power of friendship, and that will carry them to 7th place in Major League Soccer, and we're going to get into the playoffs.
Who used your word the other day? It was David. David used your word gritty.
Yeah, he did. Couldn't help it. Okay, so another positive from that game, Thad. Ian James, the 17-year-old, got his first start. Ian James, big kid. It's a big boy.
Yep, 17 and 19 days, I think is what it was when he got the start.
Yes, for the second youngest.
Yes. You know who the first youngest is?
Busio, but then he just beat out... I'm already forgetting. Who?
EPB.
Oh, that's right.
Interesting.
I really wonder how long Thad would have just let the silence sit there before giving that answer.
I was waiting for you. That was yours.
So what'd you think of Ian James in his first start? Not an amazing performance, but I really liked it.
I think it was a really solid start, his first game. I mean, he got a couple minutes in the last game. He's had some games with SKC 2, and not even a lot of those because he's had to be on the bench just in case for the first team. I think he's got a good future. We have to see how that turns out, obviously. But yeah, I thought it was a really solid start. And then being next to Jansen, that was his 17th, 18th game. So he's a rookie. And then, having Leaky Leibold on the other side.
Is this the new thing?
I think as a 17-year-old, if you get in there and you just kind of hold your own, you look like you belong in the first start, that's really all you can ask. And that's exactly what he did. And like Jansen Miller said after the game, when I was 17, there's no way I could have played at this level.
And then you have a 19-year-old Bartlett in front of those two.
Yeah. Who was shading back a lot further this game, at least very early on, and I think in an attempt to cover for a 17-year-old.
Yeah, or just the two of them together, or because
two
we
rookies
knew those
together,
or the guys playing right and left back.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
the biggest weakness right now is the overall backline experience strength. With you can argue whether Joaquin or Rosero should be starting. Or Volader comes back, did see him out running the other day, so that's good. But it is just a very inexperienced back line at this point.
Is Danny Rosero out of contract this year?
I think so.
Yeah, I always liked him, but we're rebuilding, and if he's out of contract, come on, I don't need to see any more of him, right? Let's see what Jansen Miller and Ian James have, and Robbie Volader as well.
Robert is praying to the gods that he's out of contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of them are, and so there's a chance to really, it was like $5 million easily of the cap money that was going to be gone, so lots of opportunity there.
So how about Jansen Miller and that goal line clearance?
I hesitate to call it a clearance as much as in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, the ball kind of hit him.
Yeah.
But very well done to get to that spot. Saw it all developing. And, man, it just hit off his leg in such a perfect way. It could have gone anywhere. It could have gone into the back of the net. And it also could have gone to one of the two RSL players that were right there. Such a beautiful play. Dude was fist pumping while still kind of stuck in the net before he even got out of the goal. Pulse Cam's yelling at him to get back there and hurry up while he's still trying to pump up the crowd. Love it. Jansen Miller, just a stalwart 22-year-old center back.
It's Miller time.
It's Miller time, baby.
Maybe they should get a new contract with Miller.
That would make people happy.
No, instead of Budweiser.
I was gonna say, I think no one will be happy until it's Boulevard. I think is what that is.
Nobody will be happy till they win.
By nobody, as in like Cody.
No, I don't care. I like KC Beer Co. too. There's another one. Use them.
I think they have a few in the stadium.
They do. Just need that Hefeweizen. That's my go-to. The Dunkel's too dark for me.
Okay.
I'm not a big beer guy.
I'm not a dark beer guy for sure.
Are you a seltzer guy? What guy are you?
I like a seltzer. I like wine. I just don't. I don't need the stouts and the coffee whatevers and imperial nonsense. I don't need any of that.
I had a good.
I like the wheats and the wits and the whites and yeah.
I had a good cookies and cream and peanut butter stout not too long ago.
Is that a dessert?
Yeah, sounds like
It's really good.
The first part of it is okay, but then it said stout.
Casual Animal Brewing Co.
I like Casual Animal. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a good spot. Okay, so the point-saving clearance from Jansen Miller. And Thad, the Big Bear, had another good performance. He had a few good saves in this one.
He did, and because people have been asking, I did ask him last night how he got the Big Bear name, and now I remember this.
We finally got the answer to this.
Yes,
Great, thank you.
People ask. It only takes 27 pods before I get there. But he reminded me that there was a mic'd up moment with, I think, him or Tim during practice, and it was one of those hot, sweaty days, and he said he's very much not a fond of heat because he just sweats a lot because he is big and hairy. And anyway, he came up with a save, and Tim Melia said, you came up with that like a big sweaty bear.
There it is. Tim Melia is the one.
And then later on in the mic'd up moment or minute or whatever, he came out and said, Big Bear comes through again or something like that. So then people just started calling him Big Bear. So it originated with Tim. It originated with John being hairy and sweaty. And here we are.
There it is. Thank you for that. Good job, Thad.
A little less fun than some of the answers that we got.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes you really don't want to know the answer because it's much more fun not to know.
Yeah, Amelia was on the field after the game, too. Got a picture in there with Big Bear and Johnny and Shallowy, maybe?
Tim Melia was there?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I missed that.
Talked to him in the tunnel outside the press box, or between the press box, or not the press box, between the locker room and the interview room. He was walking by, just said, "Hey, Tim." So he came up and talked to me and the guy who sits outside the locker room. And then he went to talk to one of the other people who works there that was his favorite player. I just heard a really nice story about some stuff that Tim did for one of the people that works there. I don't want to go into a ton of detail, but it just goes to show.
Just know that he's a great guy.
Yeah, it was just another one of those, he went well above and beyond what he needed to do than just give somebody an autograph. He went and did a lot of stuff for that person. So
it pleases me to know that he and his family are still in Kansas City. I like when players want to stay here.
Doing real estate.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Him, Zeus, and Roger all do real estate. But
do they really?
Right. I did see that.
Not all. Tim does something different. Roger and Zeus do some stuff together, and I know Roger, they own some housing properties or something, like multifamily type of things. And I think Roger also owns a building that, like a popular coffee shop somewhere down near you, Cody.
Like the building that he used to live in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but
if you're talking Westport, that would surprise me because there's two companies, two families that own every freaking thing in Westport.
There's a coffee shop I want to say is east of you.
Oh.
Maybe on Troost?
Anchor Island?
No.
Oh my God, I would love that if he. Anchor Island's a cool spot there on Troost if anyone is in the area.
The only reason I know it is because I went to go pick up my daughter one day and she was at the coffee shop 2 blocks away somewhere. So I'll figure it out.
Is it under a parking garage? Connected to a parking garage?
I do not know this.
Okay, I'm sorry. We got into the weeds there. Thank you for that, Thad.
You're the one that kept asking. I just said he owned a building
it.
with a coffee shop. You kept diving into it.
Any final thoughts from the RSL 1-1 draw?
Johnny did have also a goal line clearance, which is kind of crazy because he would not have done that in the last 2 years. So why is he doing it now?
He's able to track all the way back for them, huh?
You know, he wants to beat his former team that let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't doubt that in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And I get it. It's frustrating. And yes, to the people that I see reading that, yes, we should not have let him go, you're wrong.
Okay, but so, Thad, we kind of talked about this last week. We got the salaries out now. Like you said, so Johnny's making about $300,000 this year, according to this.
Yes.
You said last week, had he been okay with that at the time with Sporting, you think Sporting would have paid him that and he could have stayed here. So that just indicates that he was wanting more. He thought that he could get more. Then maybe he realized that he couldn't. So that chip on his shoulder, maybe shouldn't be there, right? If there's some ounce of like, okay, I was wrong, I had to bite the bullet, now I'm getting paid $300,000 for RSL next to Willie Agata.
Well, he didn't get signed till what, May?
That's what I mean. It took a very long time.
Yeah.
So I think he finally was like, well, shit, no one's going to give me the $1 million I've been asking for. Maybe Sporting doesn't just hate me. Maybe they were just trying to do the business that everybody else was doing.
Yeah, but you're still a player. I mean, you still like feel at least a little disrespected by they didn't just pay you what you were getting paid before, even though his product was diminishing, his injuries were rising, and he's played pretty well for RSL, but it's only been a few games, and most of those have been off the bench, and that's the perfect use. But that's another problem. If he would have stayed, even if he would have stayed for less money, would he have accepted not being the captain? Would he have accepted a diminished role?
Would he still have a ponytail?
He would have, had more respect.
Why am I getting an image of Johnny trying to sleep at night? And he's just like tossing and turning, Mr. Burns, Mr. Burns, Mr. Burns.
Okay. So the Gold Cup is going on right now. We're recording here on Sunday before the USA-Costa Rica game, as well as the, now I'm forgetting the other one. Oh, Canada and Guatemala. So I'm not going to ask for any takes because you get no reward for like, oh, that's a thoughtful take ahead of this game. If you want to say something about these games right now, it's all risk. You can only look stupid by saying this to somebody listening. So does anyone want to have a thought about USA-Costa Rica tonight?
1-0, USA loses.
Okay. We'll just taking the easy way out. Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 US.
2-1 US. I always tell you, Thad, I know you because we've been doing this for so long. 2-1 is your cop-out score.
It's anybody's cop-out score.
Yeah, it's because I hate predictions, but I'm just throwing that out there because you're kind of like daring us to say something. So I'm throwing something out there.
I think the U.S. will win as well.
I think they're going to win handily.
Cringe.
They looked good in the last game.
They did.
Will Cody look stupid?
Cody, I was
That
gonna...
should be the headline to this one.
I'm the only one trying to do content here. 2-1 US. Get out of here,
Hey,
Thad.
part of this content is I say shit, you make fun of me. That's part of our content.
No, I do. I like 50% believe that they're going to win handily tonight.
Well, hey, I thought PSG would win by 3. I was wrong.
Cody, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts on the rumors that Poach is doing interviews with other clubs?
It's been debunked already.
Yeah, I was going to say, I did see that rumor. What's the club? I'm forgetting what the club was.
Was it Brentford?
It was reported that Poach had legitimately interviewed for a coaching job somewhere. But as Robert said, I think that it has been debunked.
Yes.
By who?
Let's see.
By Poach?
Doug McIntyre.
By Doug McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Was he there?
Thad was waiting to hear some name that he could clap back against. How about Doug McIntyre? You want to talk crap on Doug McIntyre?
Yeah.
We heard this whenever Vermes was out and a certain coach at another soccer team in the city had gotten questioned.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't think he has seen something so horrible within the U.S. ranks that he's abandoning ship. I don't believe that. I think he's here. I think he's signed up for this thing. He's going to see it through.
Maybe he just doesn't like the national team type of coaching situation.
That's true. It could happen.
Because I think there are coaches who are really great club coaches and coaches that are really good national team coaches that are not equal to. They can't go back and forth.
I'll game this out with you. If this was real, and he did sign up for this, and then abandons us because he was like, never mind, I don't really like it, and goes and coaches Brentford.
Oh my Lord.
I would be so furious. Public enemy number 1 of this country.
when you're out.
Outside of Trump.
When you're out, too, from hosting the World Cup.
I know.
Right, yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. There's no way. I'm like having trouble even fathoming that a man would do that to us.
I'm not saying he is. I would not be as shocked as some people.
And why pass up a chance to create some miracle next summer, right?
Yeah.
Or look like a shitty coach when they bow out in the group stage.
Well, I don't think that will reflect on the coach.
Well, aren't these? Well, it reflected on Berhalter when he got screwed over by a stupid red card by a player.
Man,
that was an obvious red card.
Guys at this level are ready to put it all on the line and take the risks and believes in themselves that they can do this. And the glory that he can get for taking the U.S. to another level in a World Cup is worth them just disappointing again. Like you said, people might be kind of mad at me, might get fired, but it's like, well, he's no different than all the other coaches for this country.
Exactly.
Like he wouldn't just be like hated in that way.
But no more we're talking about coaching carousels. The more St. Louis tanks, the more I can see Vermees end up taking over there.
Well, hold on here. Let's take a break. And Robert, we'll talk about both of those things that you low-key brought up here before we got to the last segment. We'll be right back.
Grit is in you. It's in your passion, your perseverance. It's in every challenge you face and overcome. Grit is in you. It's never in Rockin' Protein. Never settle.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Like these road trippers making waffles and eating fresh fruit in their natural habitat. The breakfast area at a Comfort Inn. I just love seeing a vacation maximized in the wild. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Hey besties, listen up. I have a secret to tell you. LinkedIn now has improved the job search experience for nurses. Search by your specialty, the shifts you want to work, and the salary that you want to make. With so many employers hiring on LinkedIn, finding the perfect job is even more simplified. So don't spend months searching. Go to linkedin.com/nurses and find out why in the past year, more than 1.5 million nurses have used LinkedIn to search for their next role. That's linkedin.com/nurses.
All right, Club World Cup knockout rounds are in full swing. Thad refused to talk about this, act like it's not existing. But Miami just got destroyed by PSG. Absolutely destroyed. 4-0 final. And I think that is about right. PSG came out with pretty much their full team, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it was 1-0 the 39th minute, Cody. And I'm like, okay, if they can stick it out to halftime and go in halftime 1-0, they still don't have a chance in hell, but at least it'll look better. It was 4-0 by the end of the half. And I'm shocked that it ended up 6 or something like that. So
did you guys see the amount of money that they had made, the millions and millions in bonuses that they've acquired just from getting this far? It was like the equivalent of winning 20 major MLS Cups or something like that.
I think, was it like $10 million to get to this round?
I think it was more than that.
Was it?
Even
Okay.
just that one? Yeah, maybe it was. But then it was like the goals that they had scored and something like there was just bonuses everywhere for all of those.
Well, Miami screwed this up, Cody, by giving up 2 goals in their last game, and they had to end up playing PSG. If they hadn't, they would have won their group and had a lesser competition. Maybe it would have gone on to the next round. Who knows? But
Well, did you hear all of this? People acting like this is one of the biggest accomplishments for a Major League Soccer club, that they made it out and they've made it into the group stage of this tournament. I just saw people around Miami acting like this is the biggest thing their club has done. And I understand FC Porto was in the group. I looked at that roster. I didn't know any of those guys. That team wasn't that good. I understand they won the Champions League 5 years ago or something like that. It wasn't that long ago. But they are not the same team. I was not impressed by that team. I don't understand why we're acting like this was a huge deal, that they got into the round of 16 and then got absolutely shellacked by a proper team.
well, as you said, I think it was only the Miami people were seeing it that way. I don't know.
I'm hoping that's the case.
It's MLS people, I'm sure, because they're just trying to pimp the whole damn league, man. I mean,
well, of course.
I mean, they won the Supporter Shield. That's a bigger thing than getting out of the group stage in this weird tournament. They won the Supporter Shield in Messi's first full season. And the Leagues Cup is stupid, but they won a tournament like a week after he arrived. Like, I think that's also an accomplishment too.
Well, it was an accomplishment, yeah. I don't know. I'm not really watching the Club World Cup, so I'm not even following the group stages or any of that stuff. I thought I would watch more, but I just haven't because I have not cared to invest that much time. However, I think it would have meant more if it would have been in the old Club World Cup when it was only like 8 teams or 10 teams. If you got through 2 or 3 rounds of that meant you were playing and beating really good teams, not just the extra Qatari team or Saudi Arabian team or Japanese team thrown into it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the last hope for North America is Monterrey. They're playing Borussia Dortmund. But, I mean, now it's down to just those few teams. You've got Real Madrid versus Juve. That's a good matchup, yeah?
Yeah.
Man City versus Al Hilal. There's that one remaining. How'd that guy get in here? Well, I mean, I guess Monterrey as well. How'd Monterrey get in there? Yeah, I don't hate the Club World Cup. I haven't been tuning into it as much. Thad, I took your opinion to heart on the whole thing. I'm scared for the future of what it might mean. But I can't bring myself to entirely hate this. It is still soccer. It's kind of a cool thing. I think it's the idea of Monterrey and Borussia Dortmund tonight. That's kind of fun. Or tomorrow night, whenever that game is. That's a fun idea to me. So I'm kind of here for it. I don't hate it. It's at least kind of interesting, and I liked watching Miami get destroyed.
Yeah, I might watch some going forward if I have time. I went to go log into DAZN the other day, and it was not liking me, and that was about as much effort as I put into it.
Where is Miami at in the Major League Soccer table? I haven't looked at this.
Well, they've played like 3 less games than the rest of their conference rivals. They are sitting at 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've only played 16. Other teams have played 19 and 20.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing?
Well, I don't know. That's 12
they're
points
sitting in
hand.
6th.
Well, they've played 3 or 4 less games than everybody above them.
Don't care.
6th place with like 12 potential points to jump to the top.
Right, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. I guess you're right. Thank you for calling that out on the games played, because I saw that they were in 6th and didn't realize that.
They've only lost 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll be all right. The roster only needs to like click into gear for 20 minutes throughout a game, and they could beat most of Major League Soccer.
Let's see who they add the transfer window.
Somehow
they'll make something happen.
Let me just call them embarrassing when our team is sitting in 12th.
Let's keep looking around the Major League Soccer table here. That draw with RSL keeps us a point ahead of them. St. Louis City lost to Houston.
Aww.
Thank you, Houston.
Yeah.
Although I will say to that in reality a little bit, because we're trying to pass Houston. If we're going to do this and get into the playoffs, we need Houston to drop some points. And I guess if they're going to win, then it better be against St. Louis. But that didn't necessarily help us.
Well, speaking of games in hand, Dallas and RSL have a game in hand on us. So,
Thad, you said something before we started about 2 minor differences in our results, and we would be right there.
Yeah, if we could have just pulled out a draw against Dallas, that's a point, and that would have dropped them 2.
And then get the win last night.
Get the win last night, and that's 2 more points, and they're 3 points up. Dallas is down 2, RSL is down 1, and that puts us like just outside of the playoffs.
It puts us level with Houston.
Yeah, so or really close. I'm not looking at the table now. I'm looking at something else, but yes. So it would have just put us really close. It's those points dropped at home that really kill me and makes me just a little disappointed with how the team's doing.
Yeah,
I know Robert was talking about the team should have played better. He's right. They could have done this. They could have done that. He's absolutely right. I'm still seeing improvement over the beginning part of the year. They still need some players. I'm still hopeful that somebody comes in the window. I hope Mr. Burns is out there working.
And we talked about this a little bit. It's $350,000 from the Willie Agata trade. That is 2025 GAM.
Is it 350 or 550?
I believe it is 350. Sperry and Jimmy and I were looking at this in the press box before the game.
It increases.
If it's not 350, then I'm blaming Sperry because he's the one that gave me that number.
I think it increases if they extend his contract.
So there won't be an increase. Sorry.
Well, the non-2025 GAM would be what would be increased.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if Again, everybody's confused because it's MLS. Is the 2025 GAM absolutely have to be used in the summer window or not? So I'm not totally sure because everybody I talk to is not 100% sure. But if it is true, then they pretty much have to use something this summer to bring in somebody.
I'm not expecting a franchise signing here in the summer. I think it's easier to do that kind of thing in the off season for them, but
it's easier for them, but this is when the players are available.
I know. I know.
So if you want to get some big name,
my point is, if $350,000 in GAM is just literally going to disappear into the ether at the end of this year, there's a player in Major League Soccer somewhere that's in a bad situation with his team and could use a change of environment and could come over here for $350,000. It's free money at this point if it's not going to be used elsewhere.
It's $500,000 in 2025 GAM. If he
Sperry was wrong, not me.
If he re-signs, it's $350 in 2026 GAM.
Yeah. So $500K of just free play money.
Exactly. That's real money.
And wouldn't it? I'm just thinking, isn't it easier to go find someone that's just in Major League Soccer right now, that's not playing or not in a good situation, something like that? Just move them on over instead of finding a needle in a haystack of the entire globe of players.
There's a lot of players, and there's damn computer systems that find players. So yes, they could go find some South American defender or winger or midfielder or something, just one extra layer of quality on that bench.
Yeah, that's really all. So we don't have to play memo. That's correct. That's really all I was getting at. The question of, I heard some people out talking about that in the press box. Like, do you think we're going to sign someone? We obviously don't know, but this would seem to indicate they've got $500,000 that will literally disappear. So
yeah,
it would seem to indicate somebody is going to come. It's just how impactful they will be right away. As Thad likes to remind us, you only get 11 games left in the season at that point.
If they get them in right at the beginning of the window. Right. If it takes longer, then it ticks down every week.
So I think, temper your expectations a little bit, but I would almost be assured that some sort of reinforcements are going to arrive.
I would be surprised if there isn't at least one signing in the summer window. I do not know this, but I would be surprised.
U17 women, Thad, at CPKC Stadium.
Got destroyed by Japan in front of dozens.
Literally dozens witnessed it.
This is one of those sad situations where I can't be in two places. I would love to be watching youth national teams, but same time as Sporting playing RSL and Matt Besler, there's no way I'm going to be over there. So all that stuff. But I went back and watched some of the video last night and this morning, and it was 3-0, and Japan scored some good goals, and the U.S. keeper was not so great, and you could see a whole lot of empty seats.
Any names on the U17 Lady Yanks?
There were some that play for the Wave, but no one that you're going to know off the top of your head.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of players you would know. There was one that I wanted to watch, but I did not really. I didn't watch enough of the game to kind of carefully watch her, even to see if she played. But
okay, I thought maybe you'd have a little more on that.
I didn't.
I believe that there was going to be something like interesting that happened there. They got destroyed. What was the final score?
3-0.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did not look that good, and I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched parts of it, and it was just not that good. So I was a little disappointed.
Carrie, Izzy Rodriguez about to get her first cap.
She is. She's starting against Ireland in
another game against Ireland.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's just two back-to-back friendlies.
Yep.
Yep.
And then they have a third one coming up after that.
Okay, odd, but I have no follow-up questions.
Got to give a shout-out to Claire Hutton for her performance in the last game, especially a little clip pass she made that was ended up in with the third goal, I think it was. So she's looking good for the national team. Cooper looked good, too, I thought.
Yeah, they have both looked really good. But again, it was Ireland.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Ireland again.
Yes.
Yeah, and they should destroy them again today, and then they play Canada on the next one.
Rose Lavelle is back, Cody.
She is. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't like Rose?
I like Rose, but I wouldn't. If I was the coach, I wouldn't have her on the team.
Can't stay on the field?
Can't stay on the field. Go play. Go stay healthy in your league play for a year. Then I'll call you back.
Well, she fits right into all the other big names of U.S. soccer that can't stay on the field because they're always injured.
she's an extremely talented player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I know why coaches will keep bringing her back in. So I do get that. But man, she's 30, I think.
Is
Close
she
to
now?
30.
God, time flies.
And
yeah, I still kind of think of her as a young player.
I low-key feel like she only got called up for this group is because they were playing in Cincinnati, which is where she's from.
Yeah.
Again, very talented player. So that's not a knock on her abilities. It's just can't stay healthy.
All right. Good luck to Izzy. Any final thoughts, gentlemen and lady?
This does say she's 30, by the way.
Okay. Rose Lavelle is 30. Way to put a stamp on this podcast.
Very impressive, wasn't it?
Sport Act!
The other side don't seem so tough. And 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Some punter strong and all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.